Beloved listeners, welcome. Today, we are diving into the timeless wisdom of C.S. Lewis, exploring what Christian love truly means, especially in a world divided by differences, conflicts, and misunderstandings. In a society where division often seems louder than unity, Lewis's teachings shine as a beacon, reminding us that love is not merely a feeling, it is a deliberate choice, rooted in truth, humility, and grace. Christian love, as Lewis often emphasized, is not the sentimental, fleeting emotion the world mistakes it for. It is not about liking everyone, agreeing with everyone, or avoiding conflict. True Christian love is rooted in a deep commitment to the good of others, even when it challenges us, even when it is inconvenient, and even when it confronts the divisions in society. In Mere Christianity, Lewis writes about love in its three forms: affection, friendship, and charity. Affection is the love we naturally feel for family and those close to us. Friendship is the bond that grows between those who share common interests and values. But charity, what Lewis calls agape, is the love of God extended to all people, regardless of merit or closeness. This is the love that changes a divided world. Agape love is radical because it is not dependent on our personal preferences. It does not wait for the other person to deserve it. In times of political, cultural, or racial tension, it asks us to see beyond the labels, beyond the disagreements, and beyond the surface conflicts. It calls us to act in the interest of reconciliation, justice, and understanding. Look around the world today. Divisions are everywhere: political, social, economic, and religious. Lewis himself lived through a world divided by war, ideology, and moral confusion. Yet his message was clear. Christianity calls us to respond with love, not hostility. True love in a divided world does not mean ignoring differences. It does not mean pretending that divisions do not exist. It means confronting them with humility, compassion, and truth. Lewis argued that love is a verb before it is a feeling. It is shown through action, through the decisions we make each day, and through the way we treat those who are different from us. In practical terms, this could mean listening patiently to someone whose beliefs challenge your own, offering forgiveness where others expect retaliation, or working for the welfare of those society has marginalized. One of the hardest aspects of Christian love is extending it to people we consider other. Lewis often spoke about human pride and prejudice, noting how easily we separate the world into us and them. Yet he emphasized that God's love does not operate within these boundaries. The divine command is to love your neighbor, and sometimes your neighbor is the person you most naturally distrust or dislike. This is where Lewis's insight becomes profoundly relevant today. In a world polarized by identity politics, ideological divides, and cultural clashes, Christian love challenges us to step outside our comfort zones. It asks us to seek understanding over condemnation, to find common ground rather than widen the gap, and to act with patience rather than impulsive judgment. Lewis never claimed that love would be easy. In fact, he insisted that genuine Christian love is often uncomfortable. It may require sacrifice, humility, and courage. But it is precisely this difficult love that has the power to heal divisions. In communities torn apart by mistrust and resentment, love is the bridge. It transforms relationships, opens hearts, and fosters reconciliation. Consider Lewis's reflections on forgiveness. Forgiveness is not the denial of wrongdoing. It is the conscious decision to release bitterness and seek restoration. In a divided world, this principle is revolutionary. It allows enemies to become neighbors, misunderstandings to become conversations, and hostility to become dialogue. Lewis also stressed that love is demonstrated through action, not rhetoric. Speaking about love without practicing it is like claiming to have a lamp but refusing to light it. In a practical sense, Christian love manifests in acts of service, justice, advocacy, and kindness. It may be as simple as helping someone in need or as complex as standing for truth in a society that prefers silence. Importantly, Lewis warned against the temptation of selective love-loving only those who please us, who agree with us, or who belong to our circle. True love extends to the marginalized, the misunderstood, and even the difficult. In a world fractured by divisions, this form of love is revolutionary. A key component of Christian love, according to Lewis, is humility. Humility allows us to recognize our own imperfections and resist the urge to dominate, condemn, or judge others harshly. It teaches us that we are not the ultimate standard of truth, goodness, or morality. God is. By embracing humility, we can engage in conversations across divides with respect, patience, and openness. In today's society, humility is rare and pride often fuels division. Lewis reminds us that Christian love requires us to listen more than we speak, to seek understanding rather than victory, and to act for the common good rather than personal gain. Some may argue that love demands compromise of principles. Lewis counters this by insisting that love and truth are not opposites, they are partners. Christian love is not sentimental tolerance, it is grounded in truth. It recognizes reality, confronts injustice, and advocates for righteousness. When faced with societal division, love must uphold truth while extending grace. This balance is difficult but essential. Without truth, love becomes empty sentimentality. Without love, truth becomes harsh judgment. The challenge, then, is to live faithfully in both dimensions, loving the person while standing for what is right. How can we practice Christian love in our divided world today? Lewis offers guidance, both directly and indirectly, through his writings. We can seek to understand. Before judging or reacting, strive to see the perspective of the other. Listening is an act of love. We can practice forgiveness, release grudges, even when the hurt is deep. Forgiveness breaks cycles of division. We can act in service, let our love be visible through action, not just words. Serve others, especially those marginalized. We can cultivate humility, recognize our limitations, and avoid thinking of ourselves as morally superior. And we can love across differences, extend our care to people outside our comfort zone, across races, beliefs, and cultures. Christian love is also a witness. In a world characterized by anger, mistrust, and polarization, genuine love stands out. Lewis believed that love is a powerful testimony to God's presence in the world. When people see love in action, love that is patient, forgiving, and selfless, they encounter a reflection of God's character. This is not mere theory. History shows that acts of love can bridge chasms that politics, power, or rhetoric cannot. When communities choose reconciliation over revenge, dialogue over division, and care over contempt, they embody the transformative power Lewis described. Yet, living this love is not without challenges. Modern media, social pressure, and personal biases constantly test our commitment. Lewis acknowledged human weakness and sin, reminding us that love is often an ongoing struggle rather than a one-time achievement. The effort to love in a divided world requires vigilance, prayer, and perseverance. At times it may feel like an impossible task, especially when faced with hostility or injustice. But Lewis's writings encourage persistence. Love is a choice repeated daily, and even small acts of genuine care contribute to the larger work of unity and reconciliation. Lewis reminds us that Christian love is not only about earthly outcomes. It is anchored in the eternal. Love shapes our souls, aligns us with God's will, and prepares us for the life to come. In a divided world, remembering this eternal dimension helps us endure difficulties, act with courage, and resist cynicism. Christian love, therefore, is both practical and spiritual. It guides our interactions on earth while transforming our hearts for eternity. It is the bridge between the present struggles and the hope of ultimate reconciliation in God. In conclusion, C.S. Lewis offers a profound yet practical vision of love, one that challenges the norms of our divided world. Love, in the Christian sense, is deliberate, sacrificial, truthful, and universal. It is not passive or sentimental. It is active, courageous, and transformative.